Identity theft is the number one crime in the world fastest growing crime in the world right now.
Wow.
And the more people buy online and use their credit cards online and their debit cards online, the more this is going to happen. Not saying it's not quick and easy to be able to go online, but you better be very careful and make sure you're going to a secured company that is a secured site, or you could find yourself in trouble.
Yeah. Are there any specific steps in regards to protecting one's credit and preventing identity theft?
Pull your credit quite often. Check your credit out. Again, if you're with a credit repair company, you're going to get it about every 36 days, so you're going to consistently get it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give your Social Security number just to everybody. Shop around for the item that you want, and don't just give everybody your Social Security number. Everybody's going to pull your credit. You're going to get inquiries against you. Really decide that you get a deal before you go to worry about the finance. You just need to watch. You need to make sure that you don't co-sign for people. I'm not saying don't co-sign for I had a lady the other day that we helped her credit about 4 years ago. She calls me in a panic this week. A year and a half ago, way after we worked on her credit, she co-signed for her neighbor's car. Well, guess what? Her neighbor never paid any payments on it.
Wow.
You got to be careful what you do for people.
That's true.
So watching your credit, pulling your credit, being very conservative what you use it for is very smart. And a fraud alert. I keep a fraud alert on my credit. What does a fraud alert do to you? You can apply for a fraud alert through the credit bureaus, where if somebody is pulling your credit, let's say I went in to buy, I have one of me and my wife have it on our credit.
Mm-hmm.
If we went in to buy a car today, they could pull our credit and say, sir, you're fine. Mr. Wells, we're going to take you in the finance office here and finish the final paperwork up. But before they can sign me up, the bank that's going to buy the deal will have to call me on the phone and say, Mr. Wells, this is, General Motors or Jaguar Credit or whoever's trying to do the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just apply for a loan at ABC Mortgage Company or car dealership? And I said, yes, I did. Well, is this your date of birth? Yes, it is. Can you tell us who your mortgage is with? Can you tell us the last place you financed a car at? They'll ask you some questions that only you would know to make sure before you sign the papers that it is really you.
Yeah.
So a fraud alert, which we put on people's credit all the time, is one of the greatest ways to keep your credit from being used by other people.
Wow, that's very good. So one can get that directly from the credit bureaus, right?
Yes, you can get it from the credit bureaus by applying for a fraud alert. At first, they'll give you one for 90 days, and then they'll add it up to 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So I keep one on mine. That way, sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to car dealership because I got to wait for a phone call. But you know what? I don't have anybody stealing my Social Security and going and buying a car or a house or getting credit cards in my name, because somebody's going to have to call me first and okay it.
So that's probably one of the ways to maintain good credit once you now have attained the good credit. Are there other tips that one could use? Say, for instance, now we've worked on the credit is now good. Other tips that one can use to keep the credit great?
Pay your bills. You know what? Pay your bills in that 30-day period. I mean, sometimes you're not going to get them, because everybody, cash flow in their household is a big deal to a lot of people, so most of the people in the world. So try to not go over that 30-day range. Sometimes if you have to pay it a week or two late, that's not what's going to hurt your credit. Going over that 30 days late is what's going to hurt your credit. Don't go out and buy more than you can handle. Think about that payment. Think about that interest rate. Don't overstep your bounds. You go into a General Motors dealership, you may need to buy the Impala instead of the Corvette. Everybody would love to have the Corvette, but you know what? It doesn't necessarily fit your budget.
Yeah.
And I think some people get stars in their eyes sometimes, and you know what? I can buy the Corvette. Well, make sure that your job is secure, your life is secure, and I'm not meaning to talk to somebody like they're my child or something, but once you get that credit back and you're able to buy what you want, think about it before you buy it.
You have to be very careful.
Be very careful, because let me tell you something. In today's society, your credit is your lifeline. Again, not just a car or house. Being able to finance braces for your children, that's $5,000 or $6,000. There's not very many people in the United States anymore that can just write a check for $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah.
The average household can't do that. So you got to be able to finance it. And you better have some decent credit. What if you want to send your child to college? You got to have a good score to be able to help them get a student loan now. Even if they're going to pay the student loan when they get out of school, until the child is 24 years old, you have to go on that on that note with them for a student loan.
I even hear that now, companies using they use credit as a ways to determine who they're going to hire, even insurance and all that. So this are other reasons why it's important.
Insurance rates are governed by credit scores. They pull it when they're hiring people now. Again, it is your lifeline. It's your blood, and you need to make sure that you get your credit cleaned up by a reputable company, and then pay your bills from now on. Not that you're not going to ever stump your toe again, because life does get in the way.
That's true.
You should be able to go right back to that company if that ever happens. That's how come we have people for an entire year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of credit repair companies working on it a few months to 6 months. We have you for an entire year. It doesn't take that long to clean you up. But just in case you stump your toe again in life, just so that somebody in your family doesn't become ill, or you don't lose your job, or, I had a friend of mine the other day that's a banker. They lowered his income in half.
Wow.
Because banks aren't doing that good.
Right now.
He's been a banker forever. He's the guy loaning the money out. The banks just cut his income in half. Can he survive? He's been living for years on this income. He's like everybody else. 99% of the people live to the level of their income. With today's society, sometimes they're going to cut people's pay, cut people's hours. I understood the other day that Texas Instruments in the state of Texas is going to give people a month off for Christmas. Hey,
wow.
That sounds great, but guess what? They're not going to pay them for that month either.
That's a nicer way of saying layoff.
They'll pay their bills per month. The only way they'll be able to is if they have sick days or vacation days, So that's a big deal. I heard, and I'm just hearing this through the grapevine, I heard that Dell Computers let everybody have a week off not too long ago.
Wow.
They didn't pay them. But the income that the company saved by not having people work for a week was astronomical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of businesses out there, y'all. We've seen banks go under.
Mm-hmm.
General Motors, I read the other day that General Motors will close 1,770 General Motors car dealerships next year.
Wow.
How many assembly line people is that going to hurt? How many dealers are going to be shut down? So credit is going to mean more and
even now,
more every day.
I mean, there are a lot of people out there that will be like, I can go and find out this information myself and try and, implement it. I just want to leave in the listener's mind. So why is it so important right now in this economy to hire somebody to do this for you instead of trying to do it yourself?
Well, again, it goes back to, and I'm not saying this morally, but it goes back to I'd love